Hello, welcome to Let's Program with Cientier. I'm Cientier, and today we're going to continue working on the task tracker. Now, last time I spent an awfully long time implementing this picture test, which you can see right here. So you'll see that I have an abbreviated, just the file name, despite this long thing. Now, I tested it. When it's on select image, it works. When it's on open image, it also works. So here we can see the thumbnail, and I'll actually go ahead and click that just because I don't mind bringing up this. So if you ever wanted to know the connections of the various areas in Dark Souls 1, I guess you could pause the video here and study it. It was from an analysis I did of the 3 Dark Souls games in terms of the world connections, and it was pretty enlightening. But that's neither here nor there. So this is what a thumbnail looks like. There is one change that I had to make this not crash. So I'm going to go ahead and exit that and show you. I had to do this. I had to make sure that the directory existed. So just make sure the cache directory exists before trying to use it. So I needed to add that. That was the only thing that needed to happen to get it to work. So it turned out to be a very, very simple fix. I'm not going to go too much or dwell too much more on that. Just simply because, boy howdy, do I want to go ahead and move on to something new. We spent a very long time working on this last time, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. So the next item on my list was select file. So we're going to go ahead and work on that. So this one's just going to be another ITM linked behavior. And let's see, I'm going to call this select file or folder. So that's a bit of a longer name, but part of it is keep in mind that I'm using these to name stuff. So select file is a little inaccurate. I should probably call that like select item actually. I'm going to go ahead and rename this because why not? It's early enough that it's not going to cause problems. But that's going to be another in our venerable list right here. So if it's one of these, just go in here. So I don't have to do a whole lot in that, which is very nice. Region overrides and region. Okay, so now I just need to start overriding stuff. Blocks completion is not true, but it does need an ID. Yep, that guy. This one will hopefully be significantly shorter. On completion doesn't do anything special. ToString I need. This is just going to have a string item. So this is going to just be return select plus item, like so. Yeah, like so. It might turn out a little long. I could potentially try to do some of the substring stuff that I did, like with the previous picture, that I can show you, I guess. This sort of chicanery, the question is, how will that cooperate if you give it a folder? I'm just going to leave it as kind of like the full thing, and I'm not going to worry about it too much. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. So let's just keep going. let's see, on completion, I don't care about archive. We'll just output dot right line depth dot two tabs. Haha. Plus item. That's all that needs. That's very simple. Read item equals input dot read string. So it turns out this one's going to be really simple compared to the previous one, which is not hard. The previous one is probably the most complicated. I need to give this an on-click behavior, of course. And this is going to go dot run. Man, if this would be very easy if I can do it right. Select item. There. This is something that I actually added to the external executable DLL between recordings. It's very straightforward. It's basically explorer slash select comma item, like so. So I just make sure to put item inside quotation marks like that. But you can just do this to do the behavior. It's something that I had looked up. Like right here is where I found it. So explorer.exe is redundant. Select comma and then the thing. So that's if you want to just pause it here and take a look at it, you can. But that's something that I looked up a little bit ago and tested out and made sure it worked, and I added it to the thing. So that way I could do it more easily without having to like remember precisely the thing to like send. Because I could do it with like there's a bunch of redundant stuff. Like I think system is I could do it through system cmd execute. All of these would let me kind of do it, but anyway, I'm kind of talking in circles. But the basic idea is I just send that to Explorer and it works. So that's pretty cool. Now I need to make the thing for actually doing it. So this is going to be a little bit different just from the standpoint that I can do either a file or a folder. It doesn't really matter. It'll just select whatever it is. So what we're going to do here is select item. This is going to have two buttons. It's going to have an open file and a folder browser dialog that I'm going to give it. Label text box. Then I'm going to need two buttons, but I'm just going to copy paste buttons because that's quicker. Item path. Item. Like I said, compared to the last thing, this is going to be very quick to set up. Browse files. Browse files. Let me give that one the F. And browse folders. Obviously, I'm going to need to make both of these a little bit wider, but browse folders button. Did I remember to give this button on the name? No, I want to. Just to be a little bit clearer about what these things are. I'm going to actually select these both at the same time and like resize them simultaneously just to make sure that they're the same size. It's, I don't know, clean aesthetics. let's see, browse files dialog. And this is just going to be a very simple, similar setup to stuff that we've done in the past. And then browse files. This one's going to be browse folders dialog. Instead of starting on the desktop, I like to start this at my computer. I feel like that's a better starting place. So I'm going to actually turn off the new folder button on that because it doesn't need it. Okay, so for the most part, this is not doing anything terribly unusual. This is going to be item.text equals browse files dialog dot file name, as one would expect. This one's just, it's just going to be the if browse folders dialog dot show dialog is equal to dot OK, because these work a little differently. Selected path, and this one gets to be browse files dialog dot show dialog. And then we have the handy dandy item dot text. Need to remember to select item owner, and then tm select item owner equals item. Oh, right, need to make this internal. All the stuff that we're used to seeing. Okay. Owner dot item dot text changed. And just as we'd expect, this is just going to be owner dot item equals item dot text. Okay, so as you'd expect, a lot of the testing for this is something that I'm going to kind of do on my own time between stuff, as is my want, but I do need to make sure I add it over here. Select file or folder. You select item, em, select item, module, break. Okay, so this should be set up. I will, again, I'll test that one out in between episodes, but I'll go ahead and make sure compile works. And we're just going to keep barreling along. You can see why that one took us so long to do. Well, everything's open right now. Nope, just notes and that. Let's make sure the formatting, and that's all hunky-dory. It is. Okay, so barreling right along, what's my next one? Okay. So I have select file, I have picture that I've done. So the next two in my list are two variants on standalone browser. So I have one that's going to be very simple, and then I have one that's going to be a little bit more complicated. Yeah, that one's definitely going to be more complicated. And then I have a couple of run programs. So let's go ahead and do the two standalone browsers. So I'm just going to start actually putting all of my module types up here. And I'm going to just put some stuff together. Okay, so standalone browser with file, standalone browser complex, and then run program and run program advanced. So those are going to be my remaining types, just those 4 types. So class tm standalone browser with file task module, and this is going to be an linked behavior, class tm standalone browser complex task module, and you guessed it, like so many things are ITM linked behaviors. It's crazy. Run program task module ITM linked behavior class tm run program advanced task module ITM linked behavior. So the reason why I'm making all of this stuff at once is because I want to fill out all of these at once as well. So standalone browser with file return new tm standalone browser with file. If I'm putting all of these together at the same time, it will actually save me some steps in a way where I'm just kind of getting all of these steps kind of taken care of instead of having to bounce around everywhere. And the other big reason is because I don't want to forget what I've set up. So if I just throw these together now, all of this part up here is kind of put together. And then I can just go up here, and all of these just go in here. So standalone browser with file, standalone browser complex, run program, and run program advanced. So I can just throw all of those right in there right now. Boom, 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 and we're all good. So obviously these things are going to need to get filled out down here, but now I'm done with what I need to do in this. I can go ahead and close it. And I can just come in here and take this and copy paste it amongst all of these. And then what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is, and none of these are going to block completion. All of them need an ID. All of them are going to need a toString. None of them have an onCompleted. All of them are going to need archive, read, write, and onClick. So I'm going to just take this mess, and I'm going to come down to each of these, and I'm going to copy paste it. Okay. So then I can come back up. Let's see. So this is the last one that I did with the select item. It looks like stuff may have popped open. This happens sometimes, and I don't know why. I wish it did not, but whatever. Okay, so right here, this is just going to be standalone browser with file, return standalone browser complex, return dot run program, and return Run program advanced. Okay, so that kind of just fills in all of those. So now I'm going to just minimize the ones that I'm not doing anything with right now. And what does this guy need? Well, this guy just needs a string file name. Okay, that's all that needs. So I'm going to return standalone browser plus, and I'm just going to give file name like so. Archive is going to be very simple. Output.writeLine depth.two tabs plus file name. So that's all that we really have there. Output.write file name, and then file name equals input.read string, and then onClick is run standalone browser run file name, like so. And that's all that should need, I think, on this end. So now we have filled out what that does. This one's going to be a little bit more complicated. So what this thing is going to need is this guy is going to need a string icon, string name, and a list of strings URLs. And let's remember to set these to stuff, lest we anger ye old exceptions. So this right here is just going to do run tags, but it's going to do this one. So we need URLs dot to array, and then here we're going to basically do string icon equals null, name equals null. If name.length is greater than 0, name equals name. And if icon.length is greater than 0, icon equals icon. The reason why I'm doing this, by the way, is just this has behavior to handle those being null, and I don't remember what it does if they're not of any length. So I'd rather them be null, because as you see right here, specific behavior for them being equal to null, because those are defaults. So that's the onClick behavior. Now, obviously, the archive is going to need to be a little bit more complicated. This is just going to return standalone browser plus name. I'm going to just put colons like that. Now, standalone browser is definitely something that's more unique to me, just because this is something that I set up. It's useful for me. But it's not too bad to make. You I do a lot of tag processing stuff. It's something if it is something that people are interested in, and I think I've said this in previous episodes. I'm going to take a water break here. But if it's something that people are interested in, let me know in the comments, and I can see about making it available. If that's something that people want. Okay, output.write. So I need how many URLs I have, and then for each string URL in URLs, output.write URL. So this one's just a little bit more complicated because of that. And I'm doing this in a different sort of way, but I'm going through these in, I'm going to make all of the task module backend code, and then I'm going to make all of the things to edit these. That may not be until next episode, though. So icon equal input.read string, name equal input.read string. Actually, it likely won't be. Int URL count equal input.read int 32. And then for int I equals 0, I is less than URL count plus I. And then we just do URLs dot add input dot read string, like so. Whoop. That side of the semicolon. Okay, now we just need to figure out the archive, which I think should be pretty straightforward. Okay, output dot write line. This is probably not the most interesting episode, and for that I apologize. It's just a little hard to make some of this, like, fill out all the code that makes the things work interesting. So, as we have been doing, we're just going to keep filling this stuff out. Actually, whoop, that should totally be name. I'm going to go ahead and actually swap these, because it makes more sense to me to put the name first. Let's see. Yeah, we're just going to do it this way. And then string tab plus equals tabs plus a tab. /t is just the escape sequence for a tab, because there's not a good way of putting tabs otherwise inside strings, if you did not know. And then for each string URL and URLs, output dot write line URL or tab plus URL. And then just output dot write line tabs plus close URLs. There we go. That's all I want for the archive. It's going to be a list of URLs. That should have the backend code for that set up. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is run program. This is going to be pretty straightforward, actually. Program run dot does it just start? What I want to do? Probably just start. No, execute sounds really good. Execute is probably just an alias for start, but you know. program, like so. So return run plus, we're going to do the same sort of trick here with the last index of slash plus 1, or the thing that we're running, as it were, for the toString, just because that provides something a little bit cleaner. Depth.two tabs plus program. Program equal input dot read string, except it needs to be program instead of programma. There. That's all that needs to do. That one's pretty straightforward. I don't know. Don't expect much from that. And then this one is going to need to be string program. And this actually, I'm going to use the same, the exact same sort of thing there. Run, except I'm going to call it run plus for advanced. But there's no reason to give like additional information. So, working directory. Oh, I may have on a bunch of these forgotten to make them public. So I just remembered that. So I'm going to go back through these and just make sure that I'm making these things public so I can edit them. If I don't make them public, then I will be a very sad person. Yeah, I just straight up forgot to make all of these things public. I've been kind of forgetting it the whole time as I've been working on it. Select item I've already done, so untested. I've kind of been forgetting to make these things public like the entire time, and it's been kind of sad, but command line parameters. I don't know how much I'm going to actually use this one, but I figure it's easy enough to set up that I might as well. So this is going to be program command line parameters working directory, like so. And then the most complicated part of this is just going to be archive, and it's not even going to be that complicated. So let's just write this stuff out. I'm going to get exceptionally lazy and just do that. Actually, I'm going to do the same sort of business over here. Just makes your life a little bit easier, you know? This one can just be program plus close program. But I do need to make our little thing here. 2 tabs. We're almost done. Coming up on the home stretch of this this episode. And then we get to test everything, or we need to make the rest of the stuff in the next episode, and then I can kind of test everything. But that will bring us to the end of this episode. So I've filled out all the things, fixed our formatting here, which turns out we already had everything all good. Build succeeded. So we're done in task module. All we have left is to make a bunch of controls and make all of those controls work. By which I mean have them show up here. So until next time, everyone, and I think the next episode is probably going to be the last one for this series, which is really exciting. This has been quite the long haul. But until then, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.